Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Locker Room Talk Uncut. Drew Garrison, Chad Penrod in the locker room. Today we're going to talk about the NBA's restart plans. Who's got the biggest advantage? Who's got the biggest disadvantage? We're going to go over our top 10 NFL quarterbacks going into the season. A quarterback that we think may surprise you and a quarterback that we think may let you down. Also a little college ball talk. We're going to get into what we think will happen with our teams. So we're ready to get this thing started. And before we do, I know a lot of you guys probably saw my Facebook post about my girlfriend and I losing our daughter Monday night. I want to appreciate everybody that said something to me and reached out. Sports helps me through a lot of tough times in my life, so I wasn't sure if I should do this tonight, but I'm going to sit down. We're going to talk some sports for about an hour or so, but I did want to thank anybody that reached out and had kind words for us. So let's talk about the sports world.
Yeah. Just want to go back to that, Drew. I'm sure, like I'm with everyone else, so sorry for your loss. But I'm glad we were able to get in here and try and get your life and your girlfriend's life back to a little bit of normalcy. We always record on a Wednesday or Thursday. So it's, hopefully this gets to be a little normal for you. Not that it'll be normal for you for a long time, but like you said, sports helps with everything, if you're if you're going through a divorce, if something as bad as you're going through right now, it's nice to be able to sit down with your buddies and talk sports and talk with people that love sports, like our listeners love sports. So, there's a lot of people too that are going to appreciate you doing this, I don't think anyone's going to badmouth you for this. I mean, you got to...
Well, quite frankly, if they do, I don't give a shit.
That too, but... So let's jump into it, man.
NBA? What are we doing?
So how about let's go to the little bit of news here, man. Let's start here with Jadeveon Clowney. We have a lot to say about the NBA. Jadeveon Clowney still not signed. Word comes out that he turned down a pretty good offer from the Miami Dolphins.
I feel like he's turned down offers from a lot of teams.
So and then news came out that the Browns offered him pretty much what he'd been asking for, maybe a little less is what I heard, and he turned it down.
He's got to be scared of Myles Garrett then.
I don't know if it's that. I don't think the guy's ready to leave Seattle.
Oh yeah, maybe that.
I think he likes Seattle, even though everything that's going on there right now, how crazy it is in Seattle.
Yeah,
or maybe it's Tennessee. I don't know. But it doesn't seem like Seattle's going to offer him what the Dolphins or the Browns are going to offer him, and I'm not so sure Tennessee's going to go that route either.
Yeah, so I mean, if you if it is a situation where he's not ready to leave Seattle, then take a couple bucks less, right? But so I could see Cleveland like I don't want Myles Garrett to look better than me. I could see that. We mentioned that on the last episode.
Yeah, we talked about that. So I get my thing is like you're almost one or the other. There's a lot of scenarios where when you want money, usually it's the teams that aren't as good that's going to offer you the money because there's a reason why they're not that good.
Yeah.
Like the Browns, like the Dolphins.
The Bengals and Trey Waynes.
So Seattle must think, hey, we can win without you. I mean, and they have Russell Wilson. So in my opinion, as long as you have a quarterback that can do the things that Russell Wilson can do,
you got a shot.
And we'll touch on Russell Wilson here in a little bit as well. I'm sure he's both in our top 10 list. And so I think he wants his money, and I think that he wants to win, and usually you don't get both.
Right. Yeah, you got to kind of pick your side. But, I mean, not necessarily, though, because, I mean, if Cleveland's offering him the money he wants, they got a hell of a shot to win this year.
Yeah, but...
I mean, they're not a proven winner, but...
It's like, you see, and I got to agree with the Cleveland haters that call them the paper champs.
That's
true. I mean, I'm done doing that.
That's fair.
Now I'm going to sit here and I'll tell you about the Browns. I'll say the Browns have a top 5 roster on paper. But
that's true.
The Browns probably had a top 5 roster on paper last year as well, and they went 6-10.
I just feel like he should see.
I think there's a lot of potential there, man. Can you imagine?
Like, wouldn't you see? Okay, the money's there, and there's so much potential there to win. Like,
yeah,
that's a better than going to Miami.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, Miami. Why does it seem like and I hate to say this about Miami because I'm not a Miami hater. It seems like there's a lot of guys that go to Miami and their career just goes to shit.
Yeah, And that's kind of been a thing when I was always defending the Bengals for not spending a ton of money in free agency. Was like, look at Washington and Miami. They throw all these money at these guys, and they never turn into anything.
Yeah.
Mike Wallace is a guy that went to Miami.
That was the first one top of my head,
So, I mean, I don't know, but I do like what Miami's got going on. I think they got the right coach.
Yeah.
I think they
love Brian Flores.
They got the assets. I'm not sold on what they did with some of those assets, but I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like if it's about winning, probably stay with Russell Wilson and take a pay cut. But if it's about money, go to Cleveland, and you got a chance to get both.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I think that the Dolphins and I think that the Browns are both trending upwards to being better teams. And what you tend to hear from the Dayton area where we're from is, the people not necessarily. There are some Baker haters. Obviously, they're still mad that he planted the flag. But there are there's Bengals and Steelers and Ravens fans that don't like the Browns, which is obvious. But I take what the Browns did last year at this point now, knowing what I know, with a grain of salt. Jarvis Landry is not one to really come out and badmouth a whole lot of people, and he didn't badmouth Freddie. But you could tell by his actions and the way he was talking that Freddie was not ready.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of rhymed there. Freddie wasn't ready.
I think there have been a lot of comments that maybe didn't directly say it.
Yeah.
But you know it.
Yeah. I mean, when you're changing the game plan on game day, it's pretty bad. And I really do like Stefanski. You can almost just by listening to a person know what they're made of. It's like when you would listen to Freddie, he just he didn't have the answers, and he stuttered a lot, and he wasn't to the point of what he wanted from his team, as to where Stefanski knows what he wants with his team, and and they and it's to be a team and work together. And obviously we know he's going to run the football, play defense, kind of what you've been seeing from the Vikings the last couple of years.
I feel like Freddie Kitchen should have worked at Waffle House.
Yeah, like the cook back there.
That's what I keep thinking of.
Yeah,
he's working for the Giants.
Bow tie and shit.
He's working for the Giants now, so I can't hate too much.
Yeah, but kind of back to Jadeveon. We think he might be a little afraid of Miles, and but what if the Browns offer you the money you want plus a multi-year deal, and you're going to get your money anyway? So I don't know. I don't know the numbers. I don't know the figures. I don't know. I don't even know if an offer was really made. This is just what we've read and what we're being told, that the Dolphins and the Browns did make the offer. The Seahawks have not, and we don't really know where Tennessee stands. But at this point, from what we've read and what we do know, it does seem like he either wants to go to Seattle, or he seems like he'd rather stay in Seattle, or maybe Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't turn down the money I wanted on a roster like Cleveland. I don't like the Browns, but looking at the roster, it's like there's a chance there, and you can get both. But I don't know that.
Maybe he's afraid of the cold.
Maybe, but I don't know that Tennessee's. I mean, I know that they made a run last year.
I know it can get cold in Seattle. Right?
I think so, yeah.
I
know it fucking rains all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know, but Tennessee made a great run last year on Henry's back, but I'm not sure that they repeat it. So, like, what?
They brought back the majority of their players, and I was actually talking to a good friend of both of ours, Joey Roble, who wants to come in and talk some Tennessee Titans with us, and I told him, come in and let's talk them.
Absolutely.
And he's big on Henry, as he should be, but me and him both agreed that they lost a big piece in the middle there with Jarrell Casey, and then Bud Simmons is going to be there this year.
That's true.
But like him and I said, they run a 3-4, where you have the 1D tackle, but I just don't know how you walk away from Jarrell Casey right there. I feel like there's going to be a hole in the middle.
For like a 7th round pick too, right?
Yeah, it was a 7 to the Broncos.
What?
Yes.
I don't get it. And they lost Jack Conklin too. I mean,
but they did get the kid from Jordan Wilson.
To
replace him in the draft. So you see what they want to do. I mean, it's no.
Oh, there's no secret.
Yeah, they want to run Derrick Henry to death, and they should.
Absolutely.
Let Tannehill make the throws when he needs to. But yeah, so that'll be interesting to see exactly what happens with Jadeveon Clowney. That's like the biggest piece left. Jadeveon, I don't think we're going to see Cam for a while, until somebody's
hurt. Somebody's going to have to go down, yeah.
And then obviously, I think after Jadeveon Clowney, you'll see Everson Griffin sign. I'll go here next, man. Let's keep it in the NFL here. We had some people ask us who we thought not all time, and not the hero picks here, but they want to know who our top 10 quarterbacks are going into the league this year. I think our 1 and 2 is going to be the same. I don't know exactly how you're going to have who you're going to have as your first quarterback, but I have a pretty.
Are we going 1 to 10 or 10 to 1 here?
We'll go 1 to 10.
Okay.
So I think obviously I my MVP, and I think you've said this too. Patrick Mahomes is
Joe
number
Burrow.
1 for me.
Oh. No, Mahomes is easily my number 1, and I don't really think that we have to explain why.
Yeah, I mean,
like if you're listening to this,
Mahomes is probably gonna. If he stays with Andy Reid for a while, I don't know how much longer Andy Reid will coach. I don't know.
Right.
Obviously, barring an injury or whatever, but Mahomes should win multiple Super Bowls.
Yeah, for sure.
On my list, number 2, I have the quarterback that we just talked about down in Seattle, Russell Wilson.
I actually do too.
Yeah, I mean, elite. You don't need the greatest of lines when you have Russell Wilson because
Doesn't seem like you need the greatest of receivers either.
Yeah, he can escape. Imagine if they did give him, which Tyler Lockhart's not bad. DK Metcalf was an awesome get last year. Nice big receiver. They had Josh Gordon, but he obviously failed a test again.
He did when?
Or was it a test? Or was it?
Oh, when he got cut or suspended again? Yeah, I think it was PEDs.
Okay.
I thought you meant there was another one.
No.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, even with the rules changing with that. Yeah. Now
Yeah.
this is where it could get interesting. Who is your third quarterback?
See, I was trying to kind of sit down today and think about this, and it comes down to a few guys. But I think probably at 3, I think I'm still going to go Breeze.
I actually we have the same pick.
Yeah, I think Breeze is still.
Yeah, I feel like
and the weapons he has in the dome, a lot
Right.
of stuff plays into why, but I still think he's going to be a.
Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, the
Yeah.
dome.
I still think he's going to be there.
They can run the ball so he can make the passes when he needs to be. The Saints are definitely going to be there in the end.
And that's not taken away from Breeze at all.
No.
His abilities, he may make those guys.
I know he made the news for some other stuff that me and you refuse to talk about in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think still Breeze is the third best quarterback here. Let's see if we switch up here for fourth. I got the GOAT, the new quarterback down in Tampa. I have Tom Brady.
I didn't have Tom quite that high. And I'm a big Brady fan myself. But I didn't have him quite that high. I have, and we've discussed quite a bit about him here on the show at length, but I still have Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. No, I mean,
because we always
talent. Talent wise, there's no.
They were 13-3 last year.
Yeah, I mean, the dude some help though.
Yeah, but without that, they were 13-3.
Right.
He had. I think he's overhyped, and we've had that discussion before. But I think currently, right now, I'd probably still have him as my number 3.
Yeah. So Brady and man, has Brady ever had these kind of weapons he's about to have?
I mean, he had
Randy Moss.
He had the Moss year. He had
Gronk.
the Gronk, and
but he didn't have him at the same time.
He had the Gronk Hernandez combo there for a while.
You can say what you want about Hernandez, but dude was a badass tight end.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
but dude, dude is about to have Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Gronkowski,
Cameron Brate,
OJ Howard.
So I don't know how many tight ends they can put on the field.
Yeah, I've heard they're looking into Devontae Freeman to come in and play running back.
Oh, I forgot he was still out there.
Yeah, so
they need some help there at running back.
Yeah, so I think we're about to see another MVP run by Tom Brady. Man, I just feel like it
almost feels like the Golden State Warriors, but they sucked last year.
But then you kind of, and I'm not comparing quarterbacks by any means here, but you look at a team on paper like the Browns last year who underachieved. If you're not gelling, you wonder.
Oh yeah,
because it does take a while to get the chemistry going there. But it seems like Tom Brady's had them down in Florida all practicing together already. So.
Oh yeah, he was like, I think, breaking laws to get rolling. Man, he's a tireless workaholic.
So my fifth quarterback is Lamar Jackson, the reigning MVP. Lamar's got to be at 5. I don't even know if he's going to make your list. I know how you feel about him. But like I said, reigning MVP. Until he's stopped, I'm done doubting the dude. So they're going to have to figure something out on how to stack the box. And what you're going to have to end up doing is playing his receivers one-on-one. You're going to have to play man coverage and send the house at him. Or spy him with 2 guys. I don't know exactly what you're going to have to do, but they're going to have to come up with something to make him throw the ball.
You got to make him throw the ball outside the numbers, I think, is where he struggles the most. Throwing it outside the numbers, the long throw to the other side of the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's on my list. I mean, I can't knock
Yeah.
what he did last year. I just think he's going to take a step back this year. But actually, right at that spot, I have Deshaun Watson.
Okay. Yeah.
I really, really like Deshaun Watson. I know that his organization's not doing him too well.
Yeah, what I wonder about with Deshaun Watson is, are they going to be able to fulfill that DeAndre Hopkins role? I mean, you got Will Fuller there, and who's the other fast?
They got somebody like Randall Cobb's there.
Yeah. Damn, who's the other?
They
Still got Kenny Stills, but they picked somebody up.
Yeah, they picked up somebody.
The dude from the Rams. Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, I should have known. He gets traded every offseason.
Yeah. So Brandon Cooks, Will Fuller, Kenny Stills, but it's still not DeAndre Hopkins to me. There's still,
That's tough. But I've watched what he's done behind a bad line for most of the time until they started to try to address it last year. But I just really like Deshaun, man. I like the way that he can run. I like the way that he can make all the throws. The main thing I don't like about him is every time he makes a play, the TV shows JJ fucking Watt. That's about it, though.
Yeah, and Deshaun Watson's a super humble cat, man.
He's a great dude.
You don't hear him talk a whole lot. He does everything you want your franchise quarterback to do,
And something cool about him, Warwick Dunn, the old running back for the Bucks and the Falcons, I think he lost his mother young or something like that, but he had an organization where he would build houses for underprivileged people. Deshaun Watson actually lived in one of those. His mom got one of Warwick Dunn's houses and lived in them. And, not to say that that's, why he's good or anything, but I think that's why he's got such a cool, humble attitude, and he's not, like a diva quarterback.
No. He's a great quarterback, man. And, I just don't like the way that the Texans treat the dude,
Yeah, if I was him, I'd demand a trade. Get me the fuck out of here.
Right.
Bill O'Brien's an idiot.
Yeah, so let's go to my sixth quarterback. Are actually two. My sixth and seventh quarterbacks are people we've already talked about, who's already made your list. 6, I do have Deshaun Watson next,
okay.
And then 7, I have Aaron Rodgers. We kind of hit on them. Hopefully, the Packers can find Rodgers a little more help. We know he's got Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams.
Skill position
I wonder if there's a plan there with that backup, man, that they just drafted. I just feel like and they say Aaron Rodgers is a cocksucker, dude. He's
he's an asshole.
Probably one of the most talented quarterbacks we've ever seen. But
he's he didn't talk to his own mom and dad.
Yeah, so so I don't know. I just feel like they're gonna that relationship's gonna end sooner rather than later.
He's gonna end his career somewhere else.
I definitely think that. I think it's maybe not this coming year, but maybe the year after that or the year after that. You don't draft a quarterback in the first for no reason.
Well, I think they got LaFleur, and it was like a young, risky guy, but clearly 13-3, he did well. But I think LaFleur was like, "This is my show, dude."
Yeah,
I think he flopped his dick on the table and said, "I got Jordan Love."
Yeah,
and I think Rodgers.
Well, you can't let Jordan Love sit for 4 years. That's a wasted pick.
Yeah. I think, and Rodgers is definitely playing at least 3 more.
Yeah, and you seen how happy LaFleur was when they picked him too.
Yeah, it's weird. I can almost see him going to like Chicago or something, kind of doing like a Brett Favre. Brett Favre went to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Or maybe even Minnesota. Who knows how
Man, he ends up in Chicago. Wow.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah.
Or Cleveland or something.
And my sixth, she stuck that in there. My sixth, though, is actually we were flipped. I had Lamar.
Okay.
I can't knock Lamar. I do think that he takes a big step back this year. I've been on record saying that, but I still can't knock what I've seen. I got to see otherwise first. So as of right now, I would have Lamar there at 6, and we've already kind of hit on him as well.
So who is your 7th? Is that where Brady comes in?
That is where the GOAT is. Yeah.
Okay. So you think?
I think
he's getting older.
Yeah, and I think that's more of it. And I've watched him his whole career do a lot with less. And last year his weapons were terrible. We know that, but I didn't see him able to kind of overcome that like I have in the past. So I'm wondering. Was it because apparently he knew before the season started last year that it was his last year. From everything I've heard, he knew, his thinking was like, all right, this is it. So, was that it? Was it age? I don't know. So he moved. He's the greatest quarterback of all time in my eyes. Don't get me wrong, but on my right now list, he did slide a little.
Yeah. Well, you know, and that's coming. Hey, what's he going to be? 43, 44 this year? I mean,
I think
the dude's
he'll
getting up
turn
there.
43.
Yeah, but
during the season.
How can you not like Tom Brady, man? It's so hard. Like,
yeah.
Like for me, and he's from Michigan, but for me, it's like, how do you not?
That's
like
what
Tom
it is
Brady?
with a lot of people here.
Yeah,
he went to
which
Michigan,
is to me is bullshit.
And they think he's a cheater and all that. But he wasn't videotaping practice. If anything, the only thing I think he could be called a cheater on is the Deflategate thing.
Yeah,
any of the other shit, I'm sure he wasn't holding a camera watching a practice. You know,
right?
Like,
so your 8th quarterback going into the season, who's that?
This might be
a
shock to some people and maybe even you, but I really like this dude when he can stay healthy and when he can play, and it's Carson Wentz.
Okay.
I really, really like Carson Wentz.
Dude, that year that he was going for
stay.
MVP before he blew out his ACL.
Yeah, and he even did. I mean, he had terrible weapons last year as well, but he put together a pretty damn good year last year.
And he made the playoffs, but they creeped in. You know,
yeah, they snuck in.
I was big on him until the injury. I felt, and I don't feel like the knee's holding him back. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's the talent around him. You know,
I mean, he's had some real bad receivers, dude.
Yeah, well, you know, you still have Alshon and Ertz, you know, but I mean, you're right. I mean, Alshon was hurt.
Yeah,
you know, there, and he was thrown to practice squad people at the end of the season there and in the playoffs, you know. So he's not in my top 10, you know, but he was definitely in the discussion. My
That's
8th
fair.
quarterback is someone you're actually going to hate. Here, we're going to go up to Pittsburgh here, and Mr. Ben Roethlisberger.
I have him at 9. So
Yeah, so, dude. Listen, I hate the Steelers.
I fucking hate him.
You hate the Steelers more than I hate the Steelers.
I hate Ben specifically,
right?
Though.
You know, there are things that worry me about Ben going into this season. Though, obviously, you're coming off surgery again, and for some reason, I keep wanting to put Ben in the category where Eli is and where Phillip Rivers is, like, because they all came in that class.
Yeah.
And Eli's retired, and Rivers is. I think not statistically, he still had a lot of yards, but as far as interceptions and his decision making,
it was bad.
Maybe it could be fault to some of that line there that they had in San Diego last year. You know,
LA,
so,
okay.
Yeah, that's
I still do it.
That's
too.
San Diego, man. That's still weird to say LA.
Yeah, they're the San Diego Chargers.
So, but Ben, I mean, we brought up Mike Wallace, dude. Since he left, Ben. He didn't do anything. He's not even in the league anymore.
Yeah, he went to Miami, sucked. Minnesota sucked. I think he had like one decent season with Baltimore.
You know, but the thing that does worry me about Ben is so big that when he gets tackled by another grown man and you have that man's weight and Ben's weight coming down, that's
shoulder.
why you see it tough for Ben to get up sometimes. And I think you could see that, especially coming in the later part, and he's already had a lot of injuries, and I think that's all it takes for Ben is one sack, and as a Steelers fan, you gotta just, you know what I'm saying?
Dude. Like a dude like big ass DJ Reader now in Cincinnati.
Yeah,
all his weight, all Ben's weight coming down on a hip, a shoulder, or an elbow. Yeah, man.
Or Myles Garrett coming around the corner as fast as he can.
As he blasts you.
You know, and it's just that's what worries me at Ben at this point. Ben's going to be Ben. As much as I hate to say it, I mean, he extends the plays and he's able to find the receivers. This is what he does. What worries me about Ben is the injuries.
Yeah, and he's the guy that I hate him, and I don't wish injury on really anybody, but I want his career to end off getting hurt at the hands of Cincinnati, and that's fucked up, but that's what it is. I'm just gonna be real with you.
A lot of hate there,
uncut, but. He has been until proven otherwise.
Right.
That's just the way I am.
Multiple
with it.
Super Bowls.
I have to respect his game so much.
Right.
I don't like him as a person. I think he's a whiny bitch, and I still want to know why he's got me blocked on Twitter because I have never tweeted at him.
I think
ever.
I'm randomly blocked too. I think he's kind of like.
He's got somebody that.
I think he's kind of like Kevin Durant.
Does he pay somebody to like go look?
No. This is all him.
Because
we got to give him all the shit.
I tweeted Mike Mitchell once and called him a dirty cocksucker.
Yeah.
And he said that's your mama, and then he blocked me. So I was like, did he call Ben or what? Because I don't even know why I looked one day.
Yeah, I actually think I'm blocked by him too. So if you're not blocked by fucking Ben Roethlisberger and who's the other one on Twitter that block? Tony Grossi. You're not, but Tony Grossi from Cleveland, he blocks everybody, and I think the other one is Michael Lombardi. I think Michael Lombardi blocks everyone as well. So, and I think I'm blocked by all three.
Really?
Yeah, man. I get on Twitter and just kind of that's where I kind of ran at, you know.
Not sports related, but I did see that Sony just released the first look at the PS5, so we'll have to check that out afterwards. But
Yeah.
sorry about that.
So who was your 8th quarterback? You said Ben's 9. Who's your 8? Who do you got at 8?
Oh, did I skip 8?
You did.
Oh, okay. I thought
Because you said I was at 8 and I said Ben, and you said you actually had Ben at 9.
Oh, okay. My bad. I for some reason I thought we had moved on. Let me pull my list back up here. This one's gonna be hard for me to say. I found it. It's weird to say because I've kind of been Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A part of me thinks he's like a shined up Andy Dalton, but another part of me,
he had a very good season last year.
Yeah, looking at the numbers from last year, I'm like, maybe
the thing is he loses Stefanski, but he gains Gary Kubiak. Gary Kubiak taught Stefanski everything he knows.
But Cousins has the big game and the primetime struggles too.
But he beat the Saints in the playoffs. He got over that hump. You know what I'm saying?
And so, I mean, but when I was like seriously sitting down looking at it and looking at the guys that I was going to rank, I was like, man, I think he probably belongs.
Kirk Cousins is actually my 10th.
Okay,
so he's on my list.
Okay.
But there's a few in there. You know, it was Cousins.
It gets
and Wentz.
close there, yeah.
You know what I mean? There were a few back there that I was taught. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can keep the momentum that he had last year. I mean, he lost Diggs, but keep the momentum he had last year with Stefanski and carry it with Kubiak. You know,
right?
He's still gonna have maybe he'll have Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook said he ain't showing up to shit until he gets paid.
And that's so weird to me, man. Because do they not know how the new CBA works? If you miss a day of training camp, I think you lose that whole year towards your unrestricted.
I say
free
let him
agency.
sit out. I mean, you're running. I think Addison is their backup, and he's more than capable of running. He's no Dalvin Cook, but you know the way that they run the ball, it's kind of like the 49ers.
That's fair.
My 9th quarterback, you know, Cousins is my 10th. My 9th quarterback, Matty Ice.
Yeah, I struggled with him, and I actually ended up putting
the numbers are there. The wins aren't.
I put him at 10. So,
yeah. So the Matty Ice is just stat wise, he's off the charts.
Yeah.
You know, it's just I think a lot of theirs comes down to coaching too, because
I think it does. I think it's about time for that to.
Yeah. Well, you see what
switch.
they did when Dan Quinn was their head coach and their offensive coordinator.
Kyle Shanahan.
They went to the Super Bowl. They got to the Super Bowl.
And
it was up 28-3. But yeah, I just feel like it's coaching there, man.
Yeah.
Losing Hooper's not a dude. He went to Hooper.
Yeah.
He was going to Hooper before Julio.
Yeah, that was a safety blanket.
Yeah, that was a safety blanket there. So, you know, but they still have Ridley. They still have Julio. And Matty Ice is still going to put up the numbers, man.
Yeah, I closed my list out with him at 10. I think he looks like an accountant, and that throws me off. I like to find comparisons for these people. I don't know why I'm weird. But the numbers are there. Super Bowl appearance, coaching. I think his line has kind of gone a little bit downhill since that Super Bowl run too. Obviously losing Hooper. Because I remember last year we were talking early in the season, and Austin was like, dude, Atlanta's good. Atlanta's going to be good.
Austin's always pretty big on Atlanta, and in the last few years they've been...
I remember you text back, you said, nah, bro, they butt cheeks. And they ended up sucking, but his numbers were good.
Yeah.
You know, Ryan's numbers were good.
It wouldn't surprise you with the Falcons if they're good or if they're bad.
And they got Gurley there.
It comes down to coaching.
What do you get? You know, maybe they can get some of the old Gurley out of him. I don't know how they can with his knee. So, So we're real close on most of these guys. A spot here, a spot there, but
yeah. So who's your surprise? Who do you think maybe is just going to have the season that you wouldn't see them coming? So, all right, let's go to fantasy. So you have the last pick and you fucked up and forgot your second quarterback. There's not many out there, but there's those two that could be sleepers. I actually have two, but I'm going to go with one. I'll tell you the two, but I'll tell you the one I'm going to go with.
Okay.
So the other guy was Kyler.
Okay.
You get DeAndre Hopkins. You got Larry Fitzgerald there. You got Christian Kirk. I mean, Kyler has an arm.
I don't know how much of a surprise that is though, because he gets a lot of love.
Why
in the
though?
Medium, and
Dude,
I don't know why, because they won like 5 games last year.
Yeah, they were exactly. They were 5-11 last year,
and they beat teams like the Bengals.
Yeah.
Like,
so, yeah,
but I don't know if that's a surprise just based on all the hype I get for him.
I think it would be a surprise to me.
Yeah, I mean, it would to me too, because like he wasn't phenomenal last year. He showed like some flashes. He made some good throws. He can run around, obviously, but I haven't gotten all the hype, but I could see that being a surprise now. But it's almost like not a surprise because I've heard him been so hyped, and he gets Hopkins. But it wouldn't shock me really to think that.
So the guy that I'm going with, and you like this guy.
Okay.
This guy likes to listen to Young Jeezy on the sidelines.
Oh, Drew Lock, dude. That's my boy. I love Drew Lock, dude.
Bro, you want to talk about doing right by your quarterback this offseason.
Yeah, Denver and John Elway.
John Elway and Denver fucking nailed it, man. Jerry Jeudy falls right to him. They already had, who's the, Cortland Sutton.
Cortland Sutton's there. They got KJ Hamler from Penn State, who I just remember him murdering Michigan.
Great. He's going to be great in receiver. He's in the slot.
Yeah.
So that's actually going to be one of my surprise teams. I think Denver could make some noise. Like we just said, they get Jarrell Casey for a 7th.
Yeah. They got to keep the music right for Lock on the sidelines. I want more videos.
Yeah. I really do like, and if that doesn't, so if that's my surprise. But if that goes south, I just see Cam Newton written all over there. If something goes
I could
bad.
see it. LA would do that.
I mean, that's what I see. I mean, I think Lock could, like I said, potentially ball out, get into maybe a top 10 fantasy quarterback this year, or however you want to look at it. Just with the weapons that he has, there's a lot of really good weapons there. But yeah, that's my surprise guy.
My surprise, and it may not be one to you, I guess, but to a lot of people based on last year, I think is Baker. I expect a big year from Baker Mayfield.
Well, he almost has to have a big year.
Yeah, and we've talked about that a lot here, but I mean, maybe it's not a surprise. He is a number 1 overall pick, but after last year,
if you're going based off last year and everybody throwing him out, I mean, everybody's writing the Browns off right now, and I love it. Just because you don't never want to have the target on your back, you want to be the underdog.
They went in with a target last year.
Yeah,
like Tennessee couldn't wait week 1. Like, we're going to shut these motherfuckers up, and they did.
Exactly, and Baker came right out and said at the end of the year, and going into this season, he hasn't done much, and we talked about that on last episode, how they've been quiet, and he just says, we actually got to work. We're just not going to show up and be the best.
Right.
Like, you got to work. Baker's got to get back to rookie Baker, and I think I don't know if I've seen you the picture or not, but on his wife's, Emily's Instagram, dude, Baker is gotten back to his rookie size.
Well, he was like, we saw him, I think, 2-3 months ago. He looked like a little chubby.
Yeah,
I saw a video of him like really cutting up at a wedding. Like, he was getting down. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
I saw a picture. He looked a little chubby, but I don't think he had sent that to me. My phone's kind of been in and out the last few days, so maybe I missed it.
So we're going to pause right here. I'm going to show Drew the picture. You can actually see Baker is getting back to rookie size there.
Yeah, he's trimmed down from that picture I saw a couple months ago.
Yeah, and got him a haircut. Throw some more weight off.
What's that called, a lettuce cut?
I don't know. My son's all about it. Whatever it is. So. But yeah. So no, I like the pick. I hope.
Yeah, I mean, I just based off last year with the coach now, with the running game that he's going to have right now, I think that I expect him to have a good year, and he could be a relative surprise.
Yeah. My bust quarterback this year, a guy that I'm going to stay away from, Jared Goff.
I don't know if that's even like a bust anymore. I think he just might not be good, and I think we can probably realize that.
Now obviously coaching, fucking
McVay.
That I don't know. That I feel like the Sean McVay thing is fucking almost running its course.
Got Zach Taylor a job.
And it wouldn't surprise me if they get back to getting it again. I just think Jared Goff is going to have a down season, and they might end up next year looking somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, he's overpaid. We know that.
Yeah.
So that I could see that being the case. My buzz, it's like, I don't know, man. I was trying to think of it in the NFL. It's like you're either good or you're not to me.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
like that's how I feel. But I feel like I almost could see Josh Allen having a shitty year, but I could also almost see Josh Allen having an incredible year.
Yeah. No. I like.
He was a guy that I was thinking about as maybe coming on the cuff.
I looked at Josh Allen as boom or bust.
Yeah,
I looked at him in both categories, but so I could see the bust there because it wouldn't surprise me.
But thinking, it's just like, I don't know. I can't think, like, honestly, like, as much as cool as I think the dude is, like his persona and shit, I think Gardner Minshew's gonna there was a lot of hype around him last year, Minshew Mania and all that. I think that he's probably he's gonna be the full-time starter, and they're gonna be in the Trevor Lawrence conversation next year.
And that's right where listen, if you're not gonna make the playoffs, that's where you want to be.
Yeah,
Trevor
for
Lawrence
sure.
sweepstakes.
Same thing for last year too, or Burrow. If you're not gonna be in the playoffs, just fucking shit the bed. So I can see him being a bust, but I don't know how shocking that is either, because he's cool. I feel like he's the person that Baker Mayfield wants to be a little bit, like with his
without all the baggage.
Yeah, but I think he's really cool. But as a quarterback, I think there was a little bit of hype, and he had some good numbers. Don't get me wrong last year, but I just
throw it up to DJ Chark.
A full season, I think he's probably gonna be a bust.
So there hasn't been a whole lot of news of sports. I mean, we're gonna jump into the NBA here in a minute. That's why we kind of touched on these topics of the quarterbacks and the Jadeveon Clowneys. We do know, and we'll get into this probably next week, because we have a vacation in 2 or 3 weeks.
Coming up here at the end of the month.
So we won't be here for that. And like you said, there hasn't been much news. Now, one of the things I just want to touch on real quick, the card for UFC 251, and we'll touch on that next week.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of that, honestly.
The card is fucking loaded.
And we're not going to vacation together. We're also going to take our families and our wives and girlfriends and stuff. Just want to let you guys know it's not just us going to vacation. That's weird. But yeah, I haven't looked at that much. I know the group chats have been popping. I've been kind of in and out of them.
Yeah.
But I think I do remember seeing Chris say that it was really stacked, but I didn't really look into the card.
Yeah. So we'll get into that more next week. If you guys want to touch up on that or have some questions with us for next week about UFC 251, like I said, super loaded card. I wanted to kind of hop in here to some college football.
We haven't talked a lot of college on here.
Yeah, we haven't got to. We do know teams are going to start getting back to school.
Yeah, I saw somewhere. I know Michigan's been a pretty restrictive state, but I think somewhere mid this month. I don't know the exact date. I think I saw.
They're going to have sports, people. There's just too much money involved with these sports. Now, will there be fans? That part we don't know. We know that there's going to be football.
Yeah,
we just don't know if there's going to be fans. We hope so.
I think
I have
a
feeling
some capacity.
This virus is working its way out. That's my gut feeling. I don't know. That's just my feeling. So where do you see your Wolverines, man? You got to be a little frustrated Harbaugh's still there. I know I would be.
I was frustrated Harbaugh was still there 2 years ago. Before we did this.
Dude, your teams and your team's coaches is just crazy.
I'm telling you what, man. I don't know.
You're going to get 16 years of fucking Harbaugh now. And you wanted Harbaugh bad, and I can't blame you.
No, because even when he came, you're like, dude, this is awesome. That rivalry is going to be back. Harbaugh's going to bring it back. We're going to have Urban and Harbaugh. It's going to be Bo and Woody again. Ohio State fans were excited.
I want the rival.
Yeah,
listen, I don't want to lose to you guys, but I want you guys to be 10-0 when we play you and still bust your ass. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's better for everybody when both teams are good. As many, and even though, like I said, Ohio State fans were excited that Harbaugh was back. Or there back at Michigan where he played.
What is he, 0-7 against the Buckeyes?
No, he went 0-5. Last year was 5.
I mean, still.
But
you're there to beat Ohio State.
No coach in the history of the University of Michigan before Harbaugh was ever even 0-4.
Yeah.
And now he's 0-5. I don't get it.
And that's the game. I mean, that's got to be the focus all year. I mean, he's got to beat Ohio State.
Harbaugh played at Michigan for Bo Schembechler, Michigan's most adored coach, and he beat Ohio State as the starting quarterback. He lived it. And then he got to Ann Arbor and took down the countdown clocks to the Ohio State game. They had clocks in the locker room, weight room, all over, counting down this many days, this many hours, this many minutes, this many seconds. Shit like Ohio State has in their locker room to this day that I know they still have.
Yeah.
He came out and took it out. He's like, no, every game's just another game. The next game's the only one that matters. It's like, no, bro. You should.
You should get it.
You of all people should get it. What the fuck are you doing? But they're back this year now. Okay. Glad you're taking 5 years. Glad you're taking it serious 5 years later because you probably know there's. I can't fathom how he has his job now, but I mean my expectations for him this year are probably what I get. They're gonna,
and that's the thing though. It's like it isn't just Ohio State at this point with him.
No,
they're going to lose 3 or 4 games.
I mean, his overall record isn't bad, but it's easy.
Good.
But that's the thing. That's what I was getting ready to say. It's easy to look at and be like, well, his record's not that bad. But
when you're Michigan, it's not hard to beat Army.
I want to think. Well, it was hard to beat Army last year. There was like 3 overtimes.
But it shouldn't be.
That triple option can fuck with you, though. I was looking at the record.
My point is teams like Army.
Right. I was looking at the record, and it's like, okay, if you told me my NFL head coach was 5 years in, and these aren't exact. I think it was like 48-17 or something like that. Like I said, don't quote me. But I remember thinking, like, well, if that was like my NFL coach, I'm like, oh, shit, that's cool.
Right.
Like, yeah, but
you can't
as
do
a college
that in
coach, you can't do that in college.
Yeah, I mean, you lose one game in college, you're kind of fucked.
And I hope I'm wrestling with who I want to start at quarterback because I could not wait for Shea Patterson to get to Michigan, and this year I couldn't wait for him to leave.
Yeah.
Joe Milton reminds me a lot of Cam Newton. Big, athletic, huge arm, but I think he has accuracy issues.
Yeah.
But from what I saw from Dylan McCaffrey, Christian McCaffrey's brother, last year, I thought he should have been starting probably halfway through the season, if not earlier.
Yeah.
Just because he would take Patterson out, or I think Patterson got hurt or something, and then I would see how McCaffrey came in.
He'd make a little bit of noise, wouldn't he?
He'd move the offense.
Yeah.
He would, he had like a big 60-some yard touchdown run against Wisconsin when Patterson was hurt. I felt like he just moved the offense down the field better. He had a better command of things. Like, I don't know, so I'm probably okay with either of those guys starting. I think I lean a little bit more to McCaffrey because I've seen Milton play when they're up 40.
Right.
But I've seen McCaffrey have to come in.
Clutch situation.
And it's a tighter game, or he's got to, we got to get a score to widen the gap or whatever. And I've seen him come in and make the throws, make the runs. He's not quite as fast as his brother, but he can burn them. So I'm wrestling with that.
My kind of thing with Michigan is kind of like what I was saying. It's like, it's not just the Ohio State game. You got to stop losing to the Penn States. You got to stop losing to the Michigan States. You at least need to go in that game undefeated. You know what I mean? At least or one loss at the most, because Ohio State's gone into it here a couple times recently with a loss that they pick up a fluke thing, but it's got it. Well, I'm just saying from a Michigan standpoint, it would mean that much more. I mean, it would suck to lose it. Obviously, it sucks to lose that game. But if you're going in there and you got something on the line, like a Harbaugh, say he's 5th in the nation, and you're going to that Ohio State game.
2016, we're 3-4, right?
Right.
Or 4-5,
and make that game what it needs to be.
And that was one of the best games ever.
Yeah, because you're starting to get at that point, as an Ohio State fan, where obviously the rivalry will always be there. We always want to kick your guys' ass. You guys always want to kick our ass. But make the game back to what it was, not just another game for Ohio State.
And it's probably close to, it's one of my favorite days of the year. Cause
I don't know why recently.
Well, my dad's a big Buckeye fan. I like watching the game with him, and we do the Ziggy's thing and all that. But
it's still an ass whooping.
And not it doesn't make it any better because he's 0-5. But I think about the 2016 game where JT Barrett was short, and we should have won on that 4th down stop. And all the refs were from the state of Ohio. I looked into it. It was a fucking screw job. Ohio State had not one live action penalty called on them that game. You can't tell me there's a football team that has a whole game without a live action penalty. Get the fuck out of here. But that game, they got out to like a 21-7 lead with John O'Corn in like 2017. They've been there. They've had you guys on the ropes.
Yep.
But the killer mentality's not there, or something. But I mean, to get into my expectations for the season, they'll probably start out good. They start at Washington week 1. That could be kind of tough. They could win that, and then my expectations for Harbaugh, what I've seen from Harbaugh, they're going to start off good. They're going to drop a game that they shouldn't drop, like an Iowa or a Penn.
And that's where it just goes to me.
And they play Minnesota this year too. Minnesota was good last year.
Yeah, but to me, that's just where it's like
that's where the
fire
problem
the
is.
motherfucker in season if that happens. If they go lose to Iowa, go fucking fire him in season.
And even last year, man, because Harbaugh gave the keys to Josh Gaddis. He's like, bring that Alabama offense that you're running up here. I'm out. I'm done trying to make fullbacks a thing again. He's like, run it. And that was supposed to fit Shea Patterson, and it just never got going. I mean, me and my girlfriend went to the first game of the year last year, night game against Middle Tennessee State. I'm like, oh, cool. Her first time up here. We'll get to show her the big house. We're going to kick the shit out of these guys. And, dude, it was like midway through the third quarter before I was like comfortable.
Yeah.
I was, dude, this is like rough to watch. Like,
it's been rough for you guys the last few years, though. It really has.
That offense never got rolling, so I'm hoping maybe a second year in the system will make, because the defense is always pretty good.
Yeah.
But they gave up 62.
The Haskins that year. That was the year that I think most Ohio State fans would tell you, man, I wasn't comfortable with that game, and he fucking lit them up.
But see, that I feel like that happens every year too, because Michigan will drop their game, everybody will give me shit, but then we'll be talking last year like, dude, I don't know, the second half of that Penn State game, they didn't win it, but they figured something out, they got rolling, you're like, I'm a little nervous. The year before, you're like, oh shit, this is probably the year that they should beat us.
Yep.
And then, 2016, we're ranked fighting for a playoff spot, so it's like,
it's just hardball dropping the ball to me.
It is, man. And I mean, the bowl game that he lost to South Carolina with the big lead, he blew it. He lost to Alabama without Tua this year.
Right.
Like, it's big games too. It's not just the game. It's big games. His bowl game record's not that great. I mean, he lost that Citrus Bowl to Florida State.
Top 25 teams, it's not great neither. Yeah. I just think they need to cut ties before it's gets too bad. And
there's nothing else I can say now other than like, well, it's now or never, dude. Like I've been saying for 2 or 3 years, but it's got to be like.
I mean, you want to get back to the expectations. I mean, if you ask me as an Ohio State fan, what's your expectations? Well, to win a national championship.
Yeah, and that's how it should be.
You know what I mean?
Michigan.
To make the playoffs, make a national championship. Everything that I don't get from the Browns.
Yeah, I get the Bengals and Michigan. That's fucked.
So, I think Justin Fields is going to be a Heisman candidate this year.
I still think he can't throw.
Justin Fields can throw.
Yeah.
Obviously, I would love to see fucking Josh Myers from Miamisburg win.
The one guy that I'll root for on that team.
I'd like to see him win something, and it's nice they brought out a video. It's on my, I think, was it on my Instagram, my Facebook? I've put it on my story.
I think it's been on a couple of them.
But you can look on Josh's. It was a super cool, man. It actually shows him, kind of being the leader of that line group. That was pretty cool, and seeing him fired up. And dude, I just liked everything about it. My son and living in Miamisburg, and my son going there. And
I saw Josh at Dairy Queen a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
he's a nice dude.
So I want to see that. But as far, like I said, expectations for us is just national championship every year, man. I mean, that's just kind of feel you want to look at the Alabamas and the Clemsons, the ones that win it, but
they're always right there in the conversation.
So
I love it when they fuck up.
It's nice being the top team, and I just really hope that the game, like you said, we go and do something every year for Ohio State, Michigan. So, being there, just having the more that the game means, the better time it is for all of us. The more alcohol we drink.
I mean, I have a good time no matter what, just because like that's my thing with my dad. Like that's our day. You know what I mean? Like that. So it always means, but
it's nice to throw a pie in his face. Whenever you can get a win every 10 years.
but like 2016, that was such a great game. That's probably the best. Maybe I don't know, because my first Michigan Ohio State game I went to in person was in Ann Arbor, and we sucked. We were terrible, and it was like 49-48 or something. Brady Hoke went for 2 because like we had a backup bum kicker. But dude, that game was so fun with my dad and my brother. Like it was cool. But that 2016 game, man, I think double overtime.
Yeah. There's been some fun ones.
And I was like dressed up like Harbaugh. I had like my Xbox headset on, and I fucking smashed it and broke it because I got pissed off. And that's when I got kicked out, but then let back in.
Is that the year you puked and cleaned it up with water? No, that was a different year.
That was a long time. That was like right after I turned 21. But yeah, that was
good time.
That was like 11:30 in the morning.
As much as we'd like to sit here and talk about Ohio State kicking the shit out of Michigan every year.
Fuck you.
We got our biggest news. The NBA is returning.
The Lakers are getting a championship.
And I'm going to let you talk about this first because you are the Lakers fan. My Cavs didn't get invited. So what that means is the NBA is going to return July 31st. I'm not exactly sure when these guys are going to get back to camp or whatever.
It's too far from me.
It just came out today that each team is allowed 17 players. So obviously 15 on the active roster, two reserves. They're going to do this differently. There's 22 teams invited. Do you remember how many? I think it was 13.
13 from the West, 9 from the East.
Yeah,
I think.
13 from the West, 9 from the East. And you're gonna get 6 regular season games, and if you're within 4 games of the 8th seed, you're gonna kind of have like a play-in tournament.
It's gonna be a play-in tournament. So the 8th seed, let's say they have a 4-game lead. If they win all 6 of their regular season games, or they win 4 and the other team doesn't, however they keep that 4-game cushion, they just get it. There's no play-in.
Right.
But I think it's more for the West because there's so many better teams.
Yeah.
And I think it's single elimination for the teams on the outside. So, like, if you're the 8th seed and there's 2 teams that are within 4 games of your seed, you have to play. But you can lose one and keep it.
Right.
But the teams that are on the outside looking in below the 8th seed, it's single elimination. So if you're the 9 seed and they put you up against the 8th seed and the 8th seed beats you, you're just out.
And they're going to do this in Orlando.
Yeah, Disney's Wide World or ESPN's Wide World of Sports at Disney World, where they've got like ridiculous amounts of room to house these players and their coaches and families and all that.
So Woj actually said 5 hours. Woj just said 5 hours ago. It might be July 30th now.
Okay.
So a day ahead. He said, so the timetable's on 22 teams in Orlando, 6 teams eliminated after 35 to 40 days. Based on the play-in elimination, 14 total teams will be gone by 53 days at latest.
Okay.
The teams here, I'm trying to find the teams here. Do you remember the teams off the top of your head?
I believe I have it saved here because I was looking at. I remember because they were talking about maybe seeding it where it was all 16, and I think I had.
Yeah, and it is not getting seeded like that. So when Drew and I were talking about seeding, so say the Lakers being the 1 seed played the 16 seed in the East, and they're not doing that. They're keeping it East and West.
Yeah, they're gonna do like a traditional format, and I think that all of the playoff series are gonna be as normal as 7 games.
So did you have that list? Of
I got it.
teams?
I'm pulling it up right now. It's gonna. So this has them from 22 to 1. Okay. Phoenix, Washington, San Antonio, Orlando, Brooklyn, Sacramento, Utah, New Orleans, Memphis, Portland, Oklahoma City, Miami, Indiana, Dallas, Toronto, Denver, Boston, Philadelphia, Houston, Los Angeles Lakers, Los Angeles Clippers, and Milwaukee Bucks. I don't think that's the seeding. I just looked up a list.
Yeah.
I think somebody ranked like the title chances or something in there, but that is the 22 teams.
And what I'm looking forward to when you first say this is the West. I mean, dude, you're going to have Memphis. You have Memphis at 8, who we love with Ja. You got 9. You have Portland with Dame and CJ.
And they got a couple
10,
guys
you
healthy.
got the Pelicans with Zion. Dude, it's like how that's going to end up is going to be super fun to watch, dude.
And that's another thing. This is gonna be heavily televised, right? It's not.
Oh yeah, I would imagine it's going to be every game.
Like I had to have League Pass to watch the Lakers. I'm sure I could still have it, but I'm saying like I bet you they find a way to put every game on some sort of national TV
I
channel.
would imagine.
And I'm probably going to watch every one that I can too.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm sitting here kind of looking at the teams. I pulled up the list myself here, and you know what would scare me in the West right now?
What?
Is playing Dallas.
Oh yeah.
So right now Dallas is 7th. They would play the Clippers. Now you would love that as a Lakers fan, but say what if they moved back and got the Lakers? I mean, you would hate that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I don't want that at all.
Yeah, so so I would like to see the Mavs move up, man. Just because I don't want to see them eliminated early, I don't want to see the Clippers eliminated. I want it to just get real exciting. Like I want the fucking Lakers and Clippers in the Western Conference Finals, and I want Milwaukee and the East don't matter. I just want Milwaukee. There.
Milwaukee and Philadelphia, maybe Boston,
maybe Miami. The Miami Heat, they put on a good run there. But the West is going to be super fun to watch, dude.
Yeah, and I don't want. I mean, part of me wants the Clippers knocked out early, but it's also like there's so much of like an LA rivalry
Yeah.
that's going on, and like Kawhi fucking played the Lakers and then picked the Clippers. So
Yeah.
it's like I want the Lakers to take them out.
And who doesn't want to see a 7-game series of that?
Oh God, dude. Yeah.
So it looks like July 30th or 31st, but Woj said the 30th. We're gonna have some NBA back, man, and that's gonna feel good.
Oh, it's gonna feel great.
You know, just taking our mind away from everything going on in the world. You know, and being able to just turn on a basketball game, and then, you know, a month and a half, 2 months later, you know, turn on a fucking football game. Like, it's gonna be It's gonna be good times are coming.
And
good times around the corner. We got a vacation coming up, you know. So,
boy, my fat ass gonna be on the beach getting these stretch marks tanned up.
so it's gonna be a good time. We're ready for, you know, and the MLB needs to figure out their shit, dude. Like, come on.
Who cares?
I'll watch it.
I mean, I would watch it.
I'll watch
too.
that at this point. Come on.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and that's the one sport too where fans isn't going to make a big. It's like if you watch a Reds game during the middle of the week, there ain't fans there anyway.
Yeah. I don't think you're big.
Now, when you get to the playoffs,
it will. But I would think by the time baseball playoff time will come back, I think it's probably going to be full capacity or close.
Yeah. So you know, hopefully some more interesting fact or news comes out about this, and you know, we can relate it next week. You know, when we get back in here, we just wanted to get back in this week since we couldn't make it in last week. You know, there ain't been a whole lot in the world of sports going on, man. You know, just the NBA news.
We're getting closer to. It'll be fun when the NFL kicks off or the NBA's back. We can break down the best games. You know, we'll have a lot more to talk about at length than we have here the last few weeks. But we do like getting in here every week, giving you guys something to listen to. Typically ask for questions from you guys. You know, unfortunately, I was a little bit tied up at the beginning of the week. Didn't have a chance to even reach out for those. But we'll be back in here next week with some more details on anything that comes up. But I mean, I love getting down in here and talking with you guys. And you know, as I said at the beginning, it's been nice to kind of come in here and just kind of shut my mind off from the really, really hard shit I'm dealing with outside of sports and just kind of talk about the stuff we love. So, I think that's probably about it for us, right?
Wrap it up. Yeah, guys, let us know if, you know, give us some questions in here for next week. I know we have some Titans fans that want to talk some Titans. Feel free to either come in or call in. Hopefully, like I said, we got some more NBA news. Hopefully, we got some free agent signings. You know, hopefully those guys don't wait too long. Maybe we got some college football and basketball to talk about. Maybe there's something happens in the MLB to where, you know, the players and the owners come to an agreement on something, and you know, we can look forward to that.
Yeah, I'm not a huge baseball fan, but I'll talk it and I'll watch it right now. I watched rock skipping on ESPN one morning, so I'll watch.
I've been watching
anything.
cornhole toss.
Oh, dude, I can watch cornhole all day.
Yeah. So that's been pretty fun.
Anything we can get, but appreciate you guys tuning in. Get with us. Feedback on this episode. What you want to hear on the next? You got us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. So thanks for tuning in with us this week. Locker Room Talk Uncut.